Hello everyone, this is Układ Sił, the YouTube channel of Polish magazine about international relations. Today we are at Warsaw Security Forum and I'm very pleased to be joined by Dr. Justina Budginaite-Froehly from the Atlantic Council's Europe Center and Transatlantic Security Initiative with Scowcroft Center. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
So we are going to discuss military mobility in Europe, first of all. So do you think a substantial NATO forces would be able to quickly get to eastern flank of NATO in case of any emergency?
I think this is a very crucial topic to start with, and the nations are in discussions about that. We have, of course, NATO plans, defense plans for the eastern flank, where they are kind of classified, so we cannot know both of us what's in there, but we can kind of presume that there are plans how to move those forces to the eastern flank. And at the same time, from the EU side, we see that military mobility is gaining a huge importance when it comes to the finances. So military mobility is one of those areas where the EU says it would like to invest more, and it has to invest more. So this is about that the work is ongoing. When it comes to what we have now, I think the situation is not that easy when it comes to the Baltic countries, for example, because in terms of transport, we are still cut off, like Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia are still cut off from the broader Europe, also from Poland, because the rail gauge that we have, for example, just as one example, one mean of transport, which is crucial for transporting heavy military equipment. So we, at the moment, cannot effectively do it by rail. And this is a problem, I think. We also saw from the lessons learned from Ukraine that railways are very important, both on the adversarial side, on the Russian side, to move forces in, and also for the defense side, just as a logistical solution that, as I mentioned, allows to quickly transport huge amounts of heavy armored vehicles, for example. And there are some projects ongoing, like Rail Baltica at the moment, who need to be finalized just as quickly as possible, just in order to open this transportation mode. This is only one, of course. We do not rely on one transportation mode. We can do sea lift, for example, transport it by sea. We can transport it by road, but each and every of these means of transport have their own vulnerabilities. That's why it's important to diversify. And as more as we can kind of add on this in the rail area, the better for us.
So you mentioned some activities that are undertaken by European countries, let's say Rail Baltica, for example. But we also see that European Union, on the EU level, we see also some actions. For example, when the EU is proposing a new long-term budget, and 17 billion euros should be spent on military infrastructure in transport terms. But some say, even the Transport Commissioner, Tzitzikostas, he said that this is not enough, we need more. And new framework is going to start from 2028. We have also some countries like, for example, Nordic countries that they usually vote for lower budgets, smaller budgets. Mm-hmm. So do you think that we are actually doing enough?
We have to change our perspectives. That's the first. If we all agree that we are at war, then kind of the position becomes clear that we also have to invest more in order to be able to defend ourselves. So the new MFF, the new multi-annual financial fund, is going to be much bigger when it comes to security and defense, and this is a good thing. So we should just do that, and the more the better. So some additional funds could come. Maybe there will be some separate instruments when it comes to military mobility that could kind of come on top. Also, Germany, as a big country in the EU and as an important logistical location, actually, housing many military bases and working as this, a transit country from the seaports in Rotterdam, for example, to the Baltics, it plays also a huge role. And Germany has also agreed on spending much more on a national level and having billions and billions that will
500 billion as far as
500 billion, exactly, that will flow into the infrastructure upgrades, right? And like the sums, the amounts of money that need to be invested are indeed immense, because we are like the roads and the bridges and the railways are in dire shape, unfortunately. So there is a huge work to be done, and I also hope, just like you, I think that more will come, more finances will come, but this is already a good start.
When it comes to Germany, we should also discuss military investments in military procurement in weapons, because recently Politico reported that the journalists saw a document from German government saying that the government is going to spend 83 billion euros in the next year for weapons, and only 8% of this money is going to be spent in the United States of America. Most of it should be spent in Europe. And some people say that this is very good because it will be a spark for the growth of European military industry. But some also say it will spark actually inflation, because the industry is not capable of producing so much weapons, and it's not a good idea to pump so much money in it. So what's your opinion on that?
I think that maybe this was not like that all of it will be invested in Germany, maybe in Europe. I think the debate is going around whether these money, like these big amounts of money, should flow into European production or the US. In my opinion, we should really balance, because of many, many reasons. Also, just in order to keep our transatlantic alliance strong. So we should keep the Americans in. That's one point. And concerning Germany, I think there could be some challenges, but I think this big investment in defense is also a chance for Germany, because basically what's happening now, that Germany is deindustrializing, like the automotives, those sectors that were traditionally very strong in Germany are now suffering because of many, many reasons. And I think that this increased spending, investment in defense could kind of recharge.
So it could be a new engine
economy.
for German
Yes.
economy.
I truly believe so, especially as Germany is so technically actually capable. And I think moving from automotives to defense sector is not that far away, you know?
But some people in the eastern flank of NATO, in Poland, they actually criticized, for example, the SAFE program by the European Union, because it says 65% of the production should be made in Europe, and then you can use the money from SAFE. So those people say we should, for example, buy more from America, because they have bigger capabilities and they can produce weapons faster, actually, and we need them very fast because we are in danger. Even the general inspector of the Bundeswehr, Carsten Breuer, he said that the Bundeswehr should be ready for war with Russia in 2029. So we don't have a lot of time, right?
That's true, but I think there is still a lot of misperceptions when it comes to the SAFE instrument of the EU. Mm-hmm. Also from the American side, from our partners in the US, and also from the side of Europeans. The thing is that SAFE, indeed, it has this quota, so to say, for buying European, and this is an important thing because we have to work on consolidation of our defense industry to promote it. So this is actually a good thing, and there is actually not that much of a problem as people think, because the biggest amount of money is coming not from SAFE. You know, it's coming from national budgets, and defense spending is being increased in the NATO countries. And actually the money is there, and this money is fully accessible, for example, also to American companies, to South Korean companies and others. So I think this is quite a good balance, strengthening the European side, but also further engaging with our partners.
And maybe on the other hand, when we speak about American military procurement or buying weapons in America, some people, they believe actually that what you buy from Americans, there is always a risk if they will let you use it in case of emergency. So this is what somehow happened in Ukraine during especially the first counteroffensive of the Ukrainians. So the Americans, they helped a lot with a lot of money and a lot of weapons, but they didn't allow the Ukrainians to strike targets deep in Russia because they were afraid of the nuclear escalation, for example. So do you think that this is a substantial risk, that the American weapons would not be fully reliable?
I think we have very good experience with American weapons when it comes to defending NATO. And lesson learned is still there, I think, for us. We should work more on interdependencies. We shouldn't just, in general, rely on anyone to that 100%. You know, we should engage more proactively, give and take, so to say. So also in the defense area, we should work on that so that the American companies are investing in Europe, that they have the production lines here. And I think by doing that, we would gain some leverage that would allow us to balance these risks that might be there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I was interviewing Dr. Justina Budginaite-Froehly from the Atlantic Council and Scowcroft Center. Thank you very much for this very insightful interview.
Thank you.
And many thanks to our viewers. Bye-bye.